Hi, everyone. My name is Todd Loewenstein. I'm Senior Vice President of Sales and Business Development with Afrix Telecom. Afrix Telecom is pleased to partner with DVO Media on the VDO Stream Africa Conference. I'm here today to tell you a bit about our internet and data services in Africa and how they can help your company distribute content throughout Africa. Afrix Telecom is a global company that's based in Barcelona, Spain. We have over 90 individuals in our company, half of which are based in Africa, with the remainder in Europe and the Americas. We're committed to boosting African local employment by hiring local talent, and we're led by seasoned executives who are highly qualified to lead our team. Afrix has a variety of telecom services for international carriers, telecommunications operators, as well as businesses and enterprises, including IP transit or Internet Protocol Transit, IPLCs or International Private Lease Circuits, dedicated Internet access, cloud services, managed services and co-location, as well as private content delivery network or CDN, which is what I'll describe today. So why should you work with Afrix? Well, we have a variety of content delivery network services which provide networking or IP transit, power and rack space, what we call ping, power, and pipe. We have over 50 locations throughout the African continent and locations in Europe and the Americas. We have partnerships that can help you build a private content delivery network that can be customized for your company. And we have excellent connections to both the US and Europe. So what exactly is a content delivery network or CDN? The definition of a CDN is a geographically distributed group of servers that work together to provide fast and reliable delivery of content and applications. So let me give you some examples of what I mean by content and applications. Streaming, for example, would be audio or video. Spotify, some of you may have listened to Spotify, that's streaming audio. You might have watched Netflix, that's streaming video. Or you might have access to Disney+. It could be both on-demand or live content. On-demand content is content that's pre-recorded and digitized for internet viewing. And live could be something like a live TV station. It could be a local African broadcaster, or it could be BBC News or Voice of America. CDNs also distribute small and large objects like text, graphics, and photos, or it might be scripts like JavaScripts to help you run a website. CDNs deliver downloads for software and upgrades as well too, or it might be games. You or your kids may play Fortnite, for example. CDNs deliver Fortnite and other games like Call of Duty. And finally, CDNs also run edge applications for e-commerce. E-commerce companies like eBay and Amazon rely heavily on CDNs. It's important with CDNs that you have low latency, and low latency means the amount of time it takes to deliver data from one location to another location. Let me give you an example of using no CDN versus using a CDN. Let's say a user is in Scandinavia, Sweden, for example, and they want to access content off a server in the United States in New York, for example. The server in New York has what's called an origin server, and the origin server is where a lot of content is stored, whether it's video or audio or photos or whatever. The user in Sweden makes a request. The request travels across the Atlantic, hits the origin server, the request is served up off the server, and the content is delivered across the Atlantic in a period of about 3 seconds total. That's using no CDN. Now, using a CDN, the same user in Scandinavia would make a request to the origin server. That content would be pulled across the Atlantic and cached or stored in a place like London, or it might be cached and stored in Egypt or in Brazil. and copies reside on those servers in those locations, so that the next time somebody visits a website and wants to request content, they don't have to travel all the way across the Atlantic. Instead, they would go to the closest server to them. So for Scandinavia, it might be the UK, and it would take only 1 second round trip rather than 3 seconds round trip. And you can see why there's a great advantage to using a CDN. So what exactly are the benefits of the CDN to a content provider? Well, they provide faster website load times and lower latency, like I mentioned. They might help you reduce your website bandwidth costs. An example of that is if you are serving content on a web server and you're in Africa and somebody accesses it in London, you would need IP transit or a gateway to the internet, plus you might need an IPLC or an international privately circuit to carry that content via submarine cable all the way up to London. But if you had a CDN, the content could be residing locally and would be pulled to London from South Africa or another place like Nigeria. And the content could be residing on a server in the UK rather than all the way in Africa, or the other way around. It also provides increased content availability and redundancy. So if you have a hot news story or you have a hot title that you want to present to your end users, that content could be replicated not just across one group of servers, but many groups of servers across the globe where people can access the content and make it available via redundancy. And finally, it would improve your website's security so that if a bot, for example, would hit your group of servers, it would bring those down. But if you had it on a CDN, it would be spread out over multiple locations so that it wouldn't bring down your website or its content. So what exactly can we do for your company? Well, we can build a private content delivery network, and you could get to pick and choose the locations that content is served from based on your audiences. We'll add functionality to your content delivery network to customize it based on if you're heavily graphic intensive, or you might have lots of audio or video to distribute. And we integrate with your content flow. So you produce the content, you digitize it, and you integrate it so that it's easily uploaded and distributed across our CDN. As I mentioned, we're in numerous points of presence or POPs across Africa, Europe, the US, and Latin America. In Africa, we're in more than 50 locations from Dakar and Monrovia, Accra, Lagos in Nigeria, and West Africa. In South Africa, we're in places like Cape Town, Joburg. We're also in Luanda and Angola, and Harare in Zimbabwe. Afrix POPs also include East African locations, such as Djibouti, Nairobi, or Khartoum. And finally, in North Africa, we're in Casablanca. We're going to be in Algeria, Tunisia, and Egypt, specifically Cairo, very soon. So you can address your African audience based on the number of POPs that we have. All of our POPs or points of presence are connected either on land or via submarine cable. And I'll tell you in a little bit about what exactly is entailed with a submarine cable. But there are a number of submarine cables that wrap around Africa and connect Africa to the rest of the world. You have the WAX cable, you have the ACE cable, you have the SAIL cable that connects across the Atlantic to Brazil, and the BRUSA cable that takes that connection all the way up to Virginia on the east coast of the United States. In addition, in a couple of years, the 2 Africa cable will be coming online, and that's the Facebook cable. That will bring over 180 terabits a second of connectivity to the African continent. All of our data centers use Cisco equipment, which is top of the line gear. And we're members of internet exchanges or IXs in places like France, South Africa, Nigeria, and soon to be in Kenya, in Nairobi, as well as Mombasa. So why is an internet exchange important? Well, instead of traversing the entire globe to distribute content, an internet exchange allows providers and carriers to swap data in data facilities and data centers. So you avoid internet transit cost or even IPLC costs. I mentioned a minute or two ago about submarine cables and how they connect the continent with the rest of the world. Submarine cables are laid via huge spools of fiber optic cable on large ships, and those cables are laid across the sea floor. When they come ashore, they come across the sand and connect into a place called a cable landing station, like you see on the top right corner. And a cable landing station has everything from redundant power to rack space and internet connectivity so that people in that country can connect to the internet quickly. Afrix POPs are located either in major metropolitan areas and data centers, or they're in cable landing stations along the coast so that everything is connected properly. In addition, we have a number of subsidiaries across the African continent and telecom licenses. Well, why is this important? For two reasons. One is you need a telecom license in a number of places to connect into an internet exchange or IX. And in addition, we have subsidiaries to do business in places like South Africa, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, or Senegal. So we have people on the ground, what we call hands and eyes. They're able to make sure that the network is properly running and to do things like server resets and make sure that our networking equipment is working properly. Afrix Telecom partners with large telecommunications providers across the globe, including tier 1 carriers such as PCCW, Telefonica of Spain, or Internet Solutions. We also work with smaller localized carriers and providers such as in Sierra Leone, we work with Salcap. And we work with corporates such as EcoBank, large companies that are Pan-African. We have very tight security and privacy, as well as redundancy built into our network to make sure that your content is properly protected and is connected properly to various locations across the globe. And we have top-notch engineers to make sure the network is constantly running. We offer a service level agreement to make sure that there's a guarantee that your content is constantly delivered. And we have local presence, as I mentioned, in various markets, hands and eyes on the ground to make sure that the servers are always running properly. From our network operations center in Barcelona, we use monitoring tools to make sure that the network is running 24/7 by 365 days of the year. Some of the companies we work with include mobile providers like Africell. We work with telecoms such as Liquid, Telefonica, Orange, Sparkle of Italy, and others. We also work with banks like EcoBank. We work with bottling and corporate companies like Equatorial Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Vodacom. Afrix also works with Agency France Presse, which is a large news agency that delivers news wires across the world. We work with airlines like Air France, Air Burkina, Kenya Airways, and Iberia. We work with the large Chinese networking company, the largest in the world, which is called Huawei. And we work with both NGOs and governmental agencies like the International Monetary Fund and the US Secretary of State. To learn more about our company, I'd encourage you to visit our website, which can be found at www.afr-ix.com. You can also contact me at the telephone number in the bottom right corner. I'm based in Los Angeles, California. And I'm also via email available to answer all your questions. I'm at Loewenstein, T-L-O-E-W-E-N-S-T-E-I-N at AFR-IX.com. Or you can contact our company at our general mailbox, contact@afr-ix.com. I thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference. Take care.